In this episode, I'm going to be listening for the first time Dirt Miller's Sometimes It's Hard. Let's get started.
Sometimes it's hard just to get up and see the day. Sometimes it's hard to find right words to say. Sometimes it's hard leaving my worries at bay. Sometimes it's hard to get my thoughts to a better place. How my mind's been wandering.
I just wanted to mention, I didn't want to stop it because I love the way that this guitar feels. We've got the strumming and then the slapping of the guitar and the strings, which gives that nice drum beat. I don't think we have a drum beat quite yet until just right after I had stopped. Yeah, so it's more of a clap, maybe a snap. But I love that we've got the main rhythm kind of nicely equalized in both ears, and then that clap and slapping of the strings and the guitar to add that beat are nice. They're a little bit further out, which gives us a nice spatial feeling. And then I love the way that this just kind of swept in. I'm pretty sure from the guitar notes right into when the drum came in. I'll point it right out again. Yeah, okay. So it's a cello we can hear it kind of go down. It goes, along with his humming as well. And then we get this, which is just a great sound to introduce a little bit more power to this. Yeah.
It's a little insane to walk from my happiness and run from my pain. Okay, well, I'm to blame. I drink that shine to bury my shame. I drink that shine to bury my shame. Sometimes it's hard.
He's an incredible guitarist. We've already seen his guitar symphony, which I think was incredible.
Accepting who you are. Sometimes it's hard to stand when you fall apart.
I love that it's either a cello or a violin. I'm pretty sure it's a violin, kind of in the right ear. But then we have this lower one that might be a cello or, again, just lower strings on the violin. That's kind of in the center and the back, which is a nice separation between the two. So, again, it's nice to be able to listen to a great production, to be able to hear and appreciate all of the instruments and them not being muddled together. It's just a great way to give us an atmospheric environment to be able to really experience all of the instruments that are being played.
Sometimes it's hard dragging your feet to the stars. Well, sometimes it's hard living like you have heart. How my mind's been wandering.
I like how we get this sweeping of the violins when he's saying, "Oh, how my mind has been wandering." You get that feeling through the music as well.
Oh, my mind's been wandering.
Yeah.
It's a little insane to walk from my happiness and run from my pain. Okay, well, I'm to blame. I drink that shine to bury my shame. I drink that shine to bury my shame. Well, here comes the setting sun. See my troubled days come and gone.
I love how the cello comes in right. Jun, 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 jun. It's really helping musically just fill this out so well. And you can see it's coming right in as he's picking as well.
Setting sun, see my troubled days come and gone. But I spend all my time waiting up, alone in my head. all in my head.
I kind of wish that was louder. You can hear it well, but we're a little bit, I almost would need to drive the bass down a little bit, because we get this great sweeping cello on top of his guitar, but he's using a plucking and a hammering technique, which just means you'll pluck the string open and then you'll mash it down with your finger, and that will provide and you hammer on, hammer off. So it gives us this resonance. Now, you don't even have to pluck it in that case, but I saw in some instances he was here. But when you hammer on and off, you really don't even need to pluck the string. It is an acoustic, so on an electric, it's a little bit easier to hear. On an acoustic, it's a little bit more difficult, which would make sense as to why he's plucking it to begin with the first time and then hammering on it. But it gives us this nice, open, airy, yet technically creative music on the guitar, and I just love that. So just pay attention to his fingers, because you notice we're still hearing notes that he's not plucking that are sounds like they're being struck, and that's because he's hammering on with his fingers onto those strings and frets. Let me go back just a little bit more and you'll see this. You see that he's going down the fretboard, but he's also plucking and not always plucking at the same time. We have this great separation. We have the I can't really describe it. We're almost getting the higher end strings in the right ear and the lower end strings in the left ear. So it's almost like the right ear is what we're getting from his fingers on the fretboard. The left ear is what we're getting from the resonance from him actually picking the guitar. And if that's the case, that is a great way to create this separation, if it was done on purpose, to create this separation between the guitar body and the guitar neck and the sounds and the plucking and the actual notes that are being strung. I don't know if I've heard that before. If I have, maybe I didn't really pick it up. I'm still new to Dirt, so I didn't know what to expect, but it's a great way. Just listen. They're not the same notes. If they are the same notes, they have really doubled this track and brought up the bass and lowered the highs on one. And in the right ear, where it sounds like it is the fingers on the frets on the neck, that we get the higher pitch. So maybe the bass was taken out of that and yet added into the left ear. That's what I meant to say if I didn't. So maybe added bass in the left ear, reduced the bass in the right ear, and added more brightness in the high ends of the EQ. Either way, it just sounds great. Really. They're not exactly lined up. If it is a doubling of the track, then it's offset. It's almost like the right is slightly offset than the left, if that's what they did, because there is a distinguished note plucking characteristic between the left ear and the right ear on the guitar. And again, we hear the brighters on the right and the lower end frequencies on the left. He's so fast. And that probably comes from playing the banjo. You notice, and I won't go back, but when he is doing the plucking of the strings, how his hand's placed, and he's utilizing almost every single finger to pluck all those strings, and he's doing it extremely fast. So you've got to remember, this is not an easy thing to do, because you're having to constantly do the plucking with your fingers, but also where your left hand finger is going to be, where your fingers are going to be on the fretboard. So just being able to coincide with all of those, it just shows the impressiveness and capability of Dirt. Ah, what a perfect. There's a. Hang on. You hear a click. Right there. Not that matters, but my point in mentioning is we can hear that there is an artifact that was picked up by the microphone, probably a chair or a stool, as he may have been moving. It's just a slight click. Not a big deal. The other thing is that the way that this fades out, it's so great, right? He's got the plucking of the guitar. It's got wonderful harmony in the ears. Then we have the cello that's making this full accompaniment. Again, it just feels so nice and warm. And it all comes together at the same time, and then they fade out. It fades out kind of in both ears, and then it sweeps back to the right, which is a nice way to end the song instead of just fading it all down within the ears. Again, we get the idea. We not get the idea. We get the visual of him walking away, and we get that same pull-out feeling when the song ends. It is a great song. Dirt has such a unique voice, and he's got such great talent on the guitar. It's so impressive. So there are so many other bands that I'm being introduced to that I keep wanting to go back to, and Dirt is one of them. And I'm sorry that it's taken me several days to put out another Dirt Miller video, because I've been dying to come and listen to more. I just haven't had the time quite yet. And every time I do, he's just musically and lyrically, it is so impressive. And then, of course, Dianne Copeland is who does the videography. This was obviously not as busy as some of his other videos, but there are some shots that I wanted to point out. One, the landscape and environment is just beautiful. Secondly, the way that there's that shot that's just basically his neck up to right above his nose, right at the eye line, that's walking, and we've got the donkey in the background, right? You remember that? If you'll notice, it's not him walking. He has to be on a dolly, because if you're walking, you're going to get the up and down movement of just your steps, just as you typically would. But
It's a little insane to walk from my happiness and run through my pain.
I mean, it looks like he's walking, but that wouldn't, I don't know. And I don't know if this is superimposed, or they've done some sort of adding to this. They've been lucky in the past, right, with the crow and everything in the other videos. So I don't know if this is, it looks like it's real. I could be wrong. Either way, he might be walking. I just don't, it doesn't seem like that. In any case, it's a great, maybe it was done on purpose. Maybe it was another great luck that they had, like they did with the crow, to add this. But it's just, it's a beautifully shot as well. And it's not quite in black and white. And it's not quite sepia. It's kind of in between. I mean, it's really close to black and white, but we have this yellowness to it. If this were black and white, we wouldn't really see this yellowness type of grayness that we see in the clouds. So maybe 100% of all of the colors weren't pulled out. Maybe we're at 98, 95, 98%. Going from full color and saturation down to black, and then adding a little bit of hue of the yellow, orangey mixture to it. Nonetheless, it's beautiful, because I think that it accompanies this song really well. In any case, I'll leave it at that. But his guitar capabilities are impressive, and I just love that he uses the cello and violin. He's picking all the instruments that I love, and it's just music to my ears. So I'll leave it there. What did you think? Do you like this song? I know I've been getting some comments that some people hadn't heard Dirt Miller before, and do like him. Would you consider this to be another song of his that you like? For those of you who are Dirt Miller fans, is this one of your top 5 songs of his? Let me know in the comments. Well, thank you so much for watching Melodic Logic, and until next time, please take care.